Okay, so we're going to power up the device. So right here is a checklist to follow for startup procedures and shutdown procedures of the sim. You can see everything is in the off position as it should be in the aircraft. And we're going to go ahead and fire this thing up. So to start, there is one power switch here. Give that a moment for everything to come up. Then we just come under here and press the power button on the PC. And now we wait. All right, so we come over here, hit the space bar, and there is the warning about logging time. Then we click OK. And we put in the password. And now the boot up sequence is all in a batch file, which is going to run now. All right, so then it boots into the main menu so that they can choose the flight. As our Cessna aircraft, the G1000, and it's defaulted to Daytona Beach, which is where the school is. I'm gonna hit start. All right, still initializing. And there we go. And that is showing that it is approved for flight training.
What we're going to do is demonstrate engine start, run up, and before takeoff checks. Then we'll do a normal takeoff and climb at VY with stable vertical climb, noting the actual rate of climb. All right, engine start with flow check, gas on both. Check out, check in for the fuel shutoff valve. Up here, flaps are up. Circuit breakers are in, everything looks swanky. Let's test the standby battery. The green light is on. It's a little weak green light, but it's seeable. Hold that for 20 seconds according to our checklist. Arm that. BATD pops on like it's supposed to. Engine instruments up. All right. Hasn't flown. Let's prime this bad boy. Beacon on. Okay, we see fuel flow stabilized. Okay, we got our beacon on, our strobes on. Alright, about ready to, the before starting engines checklist is complete. Starting engine checklist, here we go. Clear! Alright, pretty easy start, stabilizing the throttle at 1,000. Oil PSI is up. Oil temp's coming up. Good vacuum. Got enough gas for this flight. No red X's anywhere. Bus E volts 27. Main bus volts 27. S amps 0 and 0. Alright, everything looks good. Check charge. Strobe is required. Watch my engine RPM. Stop climbing like it should in a real airplane. There we go, stop climbing. That's good enough for here. Alright, that was our engine start. We'll do our run up here. Park and brake is still set. Okay, we're going to advance throttle to 1800 for the run up. Okay, here we are, 1800 RPM. All right, testing right mag. About a 50 RPM drop. Back to both. Back to 1790. Left. About a 50 RPM drop. 0 between them. Going back to both. Engine instruments all look good. Everything's in the green. We'll pull our throttle to idle. Make sure it stabilizes. Alright, verifying everything looks good with the checklist. It looks good. Throttle back up to 1,000. Alright, next we're doing the before takeoff checks, the normal takeoff and climb. So I guess they won't be the taxi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it is taxi.
Great, make the paraplegic taxi. Alright. Park and brake, I released it.
MFD still off. MFD still off.
Oh, you know why? We need that. That's something to keep us moving.
I did a brake again for that.
There we go. I'll do a 2-5 left, hop and 9 departure. Alright, so our climb out, VY, vertical stable climb. That's not the sim, that's paraplegic using brakes. Last minute checks, gas is on pulls tanks. Fuel is in, flaps are set for normal takeoff, trim is set, mixture's full rich, nav and landing lights on. Everything else looks good to go.
I'm gonna come straight into.
Yeah, as long as he's here more.
Okay,
Come straight in on that PFD.
got it.
All right, I'm assuming we're clear for takeoff. Finals clear, Navy finals clear. All right, advancing throttle now. All right, engine instruments on the green. We got just about takeoff power, just almost there. Airspeed's alive. There's 55. And we'll come out at VY. 74. Stabilize that there. Trim set. There's your 74, trimmed out, hands off, maintaining 74-ish. There's our 74 notch, the autopilot, headings engaged. It's doing a flight level change to 3000, stable at VY.
So I think it's good for that.
It's good?
Okay.
Stop that video. Start now.
Then we'll do the level off.
Can we put that turbulence in now, or you want to do that?
After the level off, it says.
Okay.
Is there a rudder trim?
There's not.
Because I know in climb I need a little bit of right rudder. That seems a little excessive, but it could just be me. I have no proprioception or feedback in my feet, so. All right, we're going to be leveling off at 3,000, and we're going to change to normal cruise configuration, which for us will be about 2350 RPMs, and then the iOS will demonstrate moderate turbulence setting, and we'll disengage the autopilot and hand fly during that time.
Oh, it's a touch.
500 to go. All right, I'm gonna start leaning out in advance of our level off. Working like an airplane would, showing initial increase in RPMs. I can even hear it. There we go, back down and 3 in. Okay, 100 to go. As you can see, it's starting to do the level off. Pulling back to 2300, I know it's going to increase as we accelerate. Alright, 2350 is our cruise power setting. That should give us around 105 knots, roughly. Uneventful level off. It's good. Alright, so do you want to go ahead and bring in the moderate turbulence setting?
Do you want me to?
So yeah, if you want to show where it's at.
Which is the auto pump disconnect, the red one?
Here's the moderate, and then we're gonna change. Yes, the red one.
Okay, as you can see, I'm disconnecting. Take the flight director off. Alright, so what I'm doing here, I'm just seeing if I can hold attitude, not necessarily altitude. I'm gonna bring down my speed just a little bit, which I would do in turbulence. VA is probably 95 at this gross weight. A little more power. Alright. Alright, we can pause the videos here. We gotta go to approach and landing phase now. So the turbulence has been removed. Now we're gonna do this stall sequence, which is, I think you guys want to power on, power off, accelerated stall. So let's get back to 3000. Alright, so start with a power off stall. Decrease our power, below 110, flaps 10. Below 85, flaps landing. Alright, at 65, roughly let the nose pitch down. We catch 65. There we go, and this is our approach speed, about 65. Power to idle, pitch as if it was a landing. Speed decay. Stall warning horn, the buffet. And there's the brake, adding power. Check flaps 20. Get the nose back above the horizon. That's some right rudder. Climbing away from the ground. Alright, flaps to 10 at 55. And now flaps up. Climbing back to 3000. Alright, once we get a level of 3000, we'll go into a power on stall, departure stall. Alright, we'll use that last 50 feet to start help us slow down to rotation of 55. Alright, once we get to 55, we'll add full power to simulate our rotation and an over rotation. There's the full stall, or there's the buffet, excuse me, and there's the full stall. Right rudder. Get the nose back above the horizon. And we'll level off at 3000. At cruise power setting for an accelerated stall. Alright, here we're going to do about 95 for maneuvering speed, so we'll do about 2200. That's why the trim wasn't working. I hit the wrong button. Alright, here we are. 2,200, 3,000 feet, about 95 is what we want. Alright, so we're going to enter, I believe it's accelerated stall. Yes, accelerated stall. So enter will hold that plane level, 85. Gonna bank around at 85. At 65, we're gonna yank. Note the higher speed right there. There's stall warning horn goes off. There's the shaker, or there's the buffet, and we recover. Back to our heading, and back to our altitude. We noted the higher speed. We had the warning horn go off around 74, and the buffet kind of immediately followed. All right, give me a pause here, operator. Actually, I got it. All right. All right, steep turns. 45 to 50. Degrees of bank. We're going to note the rudder requirements, so we'll watch this. I'll first enter in coordinated, then I will neutralize the rudder and see if it goes uncoordinated like it should in a real airplane. So here we go. Entering it, adding just a little boost of power, keeping it coordinated. Here comes our 45 to 50 degrees of bank. All right, I'm going to uncoordinate it. There it goes, stepping on a little bit of that left rudder there. Rolling out our heading, we'll go into our right. Back down to our altitude. Okay, if you notice, I'm off the rudders. It shows I need a right rudder. So I'm pressing on the right rudder now, and it brings the ball back in center. About 7 knots fast, slowing. And rolling out using aileron and rudders, and pulling that power out back to 95. All right, next.
Go.
So I can do what a good pilot should do and land on 25 right, or I can do what Harrison Ford does and land on Poplar November Taxiway. Alright, below 110, flaps 10. Rolling out on center line. Once she's trimmed out, she flies pretty nice. What are the winds?
They're at 0 right now.
0? Okay. Okay, this is hand flown. We'll save the coupled stuff for the instrument work. Alright, slowing down below 85 for the rest of our flaps, sea doodles. Flaps 20. Trim, 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 trim. 65, stable approach. And flaps landing below 500, stabilize on airspeed, final configuration. Alright, gun check. Gas on, fullest tank, mixture's full forward, props is fixed, gear is welded, pumps are not required. Short final gun check complete. Okay, pause that one.
Go.
Alright, so here we are on the first ILS. This is with Clear to Million. Fly this one by hand. The other two I'll fly coupled. We have positive IDs on our radios. Okay, here comes the chorus. Alright, here we are on localizer. 1,600 feet, getting ready for glide slope intercept. That should occur right around Folig, which we're about 6 miles away from. We'll see how the trim works here. 2250 should give me the contract of 100, which is what Daytona likes. Four miles from the final approach fix. nice thing about the simulator is it does simulate for the students to make very small, minor corrections because it's very easy to over control any sim. All right, glide slope is alive. We're already below 110, so I'm just going to drop the flaps to 10 when I'm about a quarter dot above on the glide slope, quarter dot below when it's about a quarter dot high, and start tracking it down. There it is, about a quarter dot, flaps 10. Just reduce a little bit of power. And trim down. Maintain our 100. And glide slope. Gonna need about 2050 to 2100 for that. Power settings are pretty in line with what the aircraft is going to want to maintain the 100 knots and glide slope descent rate. Okay, on glide slope, on speed, on loc. I like to assume we're going to land from all ILSs, which means I need to configure beyond just flaps 10. I don't want to cross the threshold at 100 knots. I'll start pulling my power back to get below 85. Means I'm going to have to obviously pitch my trim up, hold the glide slope. Everything's responding like the airplane should. All right, 500 feet, below 85. I'm going to leave it at flaps 20 for an ILS. I land with flaps 20 on an ILS. And let me get my 65, 75 back on glide slope. There's my minimums. Land, flaps landing. Welcome aboard, sailor. All right.
So three, you ready?
Yep.
Alright, so 3 statute miles, cloud layer, stratus, overcast, and bases at 1,000 MSL. We'll update the weather.
pilots engaged. You can approach in the standby. Localizer and glide slope are armed. Currently on heading and approach and altitude hold. Hundredth knots, 1,600 feet. Okay, localizer's alive. Let's watch the capture of the localizer. There we go. Localizer is now captured. Should start turning. All right. Next, we're waiting for glide slope capture. Okay, we're about 2 miles from Folic. That glide slope should start to brake lock. There it comes. So next thing we'll see if we can glide slope capture. All right, 2100, 2150 and flaps 10 should give me a good 100 knot descent. I'm gonna go on a half glide slope deflection, still waiting for capture. And start to slow down a little bit, flaps 10. Glide slope is captured. Now we're in the descent, about 2050 to 2100. Should give us our 100 knots. Sorry.
Okay.
So the power settings here are matching pretty much what we fly in the Cessnas every day. Okay, scroll this back down to the minimums. 230. Okay, we're breaking out right about 1,000 feet. Proves consistent with the operator settings. At 700 feet, I'll begin my slowdown to get flaps to 20. Starting to slow down. All right, below 85, we're going to go to flaps 20 and stabilize at around 75. All right, below 85, flaps 20. Add a little bit of power to account for the increased drag. And stabilize at around 75. That should take about 17 to 1750 to stabilize at 75. And here we go. 100 above minimums. Alright, case undercarriage measure props and pumps. Everything is set. Here's minimums. Autopilot's disengaged. Flaps landing. Runways are short. Welcome aboard, sailor.
So weather settings, 5 statute miles, cloud coverage, stratus, overcast, and base is at 230 feet. Changes. Ready?
100. Come back to speed. Here's my intercept heading. Alright, so we are in heading mode. Approach is in the back cup. On standby. Let's do a vertical speed change to get back down to altitude. Right now our altitude select is 1600. Alright, about 5 miles from final approach fix, on an intercept handling, 100 knots, 1600 feet. Okay, localizer's alive. Watch the capture. There we go, we have capture. Not quite sure, but we should have a glide slope in the standby. Disconnect the autopilot real quick. Turn the flight director off. Right, turn the flight director back on. Heading, nav. Altitude select. Approach. There we go. Autopilot. That was not an error of the sim. That was a pilot error. I forgot to hit the approach. I only hit nav. That's how I was tracking only localizer. So I hit approach, glide slope came out. That was pilot error, not sim error. Alright, about 1.5 miles from Foley. That glide slope should be breaking out any minute. There it comes. Alright, again, we're about 1/2 a dot below glide slope. Start take a little bit of power and add our flaps to 10. We'll start at about 2100, let it see what it does. Flaps 10. Going to cause an initial balloon. And then there's the glide slope, and about 2100 to 2150 should stabilize at 100. Okay, scrolling our minimums at 230. Alright, 100 knots on glide slope, on localizer. Gas, undercarriage, mixture, props, and pumps. Everything looks good. $1,000 above minimums. Like to have my final configuration by 500 on an ILS, so again, around 750 feet or so, we'll start slowing to get my flaps to 20, so that I'm not cooking in over the numbers at 100 knots. And it's only cooking in a Cessna 172, not another airplanes. Alright, starting to slow. Give time for the autopilot to catch up and pitch up. You don't want to decelerate rapidly. Sam's doing a really good job of handling the slow down, keeping up with the trim. About 5 knots to go and 100 feet to go to where I want to be stabilized. $85 knots and below. Flaps 20. Stabilized approach. I'm going to look for about 75. Pretty much does just the same thing the airplane does. On glide slope, on speed. Hit about 17 to 1750. 100 above minimums. We should start to see the ground a little bit. There's minimums. Runway in sight, land. Runways assured, flaps landing. Station.
Do you want to say
You're
that?
gonna push the head and pull the tail.
You want to say that all one more time? I wasn't recording.
Okay, she wasn't ready. So we have 089 inbound for us in for the VOR runway 9 right approach into Melbourne. Tracking direct to Melbourne via bearing pointer and wing correction angle. Push that head some more because we have a strong northerly wind. So as you can see, the wind drift correction, there we go. When the head of the bearing pointer is on the wind diamond, that's when I'm tracking directly to the station. So there is about, as you can see, quite a significant cut because of the 20 knot headwind out of the north. 089 is the inbound course. Once we cross the VOR, we see it outbound on the 269 radial down to 1600. We're about 3 miles away from Melbourne. Once we cross that, we'll use the bearing pointer again. We'll push the head, pull the tail to be on 269. And we'll start our descent down to 1600 feet. The moon is beautiful if you like to. It's a waning gibbous. Actually, no, it's a waxing gibbous. I'm bored. I get a little bit off course. Let me push that head back to the diamond. There we are. All right, 1.5 miles away from Melbourne. We can start our descent once we cross Melbourne. Outbound on a 269 bearing, down to 1600 feet. We have to remain within 10 nautical miles from the VOR. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. We also have our DME down here. Hi, Victoria.
Hi.
All right, coming over the VOR any minute now, half a mile. Let's not chase stuff. I'm not going to change my heading even though the bearing pointer's moving. We have station passage. Okay, I went 269 bearing outbound. So I have to pull the tail at 269. I know I have a wind drift correction. I don't want to overcorrect. And I'm going to start down now to 1600. Is this 1600? Yes, it is 1600. All right, 269. We're pretty much right there. Kind of pull that tail a little bit. There we go. 100 feet above step down. There's the tail, about 265. Let's get it back to 269. Altitude capture. All right, so our left turn now, 269. Bring it back just a hair, 265. Wind is especially spicy, 20 knot of crosswind, direct. All right, let's start that left turn to 224. And let's start our timer. There we go. Well, we already have the inbound course to 089 back in. Once we turn inbound, we can descend down to 560 feet by JEDMO, which is 3 DME. And then we can start a CDFA approach down to the runway. CDFA, constant descent, final approach. Published on all Jeppesen approach charts.
It's like an ad.
I have. Want them to pick me up and give me free subscriptions. right, 45 seconds, again, because wind's blowing us this way. I'm going to come to a right turn of 044. Oh, slowly, so slowly, the day turns into night. The moonlight haunts as diving depths from the depths below. Suddenly and without warning, danger strikes. Alright, once we're inbound and established, we'll descend down to 560 by Jedmo. I like to wait till course lock breaks for that. I don't want to start descending until I'm on some sort of glide path. Don't need that anymore. Flight plan back. 044 inbound. You can tell how many degrees off I am. 089. I'm coming up about 15 degrees off. Now I'm going to watch to see how quickly the bearing pointer accelerates to my desired course. So if it doesn't, I'm going to go and get it a little bit. So we have pretty strong wind. In fact, I'm going to start compensating for that wind now. Alright, our next step down is going to be 560 feet. We'll put 600 in the box. Alright, now we're starting to move. Bearing pointer starting to intercept. Get the VOR in standby. Oh, that's no good. There we go. Back to normal. Let's see if this actually does what it's supposed to do. Alright, we are established. Let's do a flight level change. Down to 560. And that's, we would like to be there. We can't go any lower than that until we get to 3 DME. That's about, what, a mile and 0.3 to go. Alright. Hello, 110 flaps 10. We're going to continue down to the VD, continue on the missed approach of 440 because we're not going to make that. So we see the strong cross, and now it's holding us. The approach is on an incident angle, but it's doing a pretty good job holding us. Low 85, flaps to 20 as we get there. Our missed approach point is going to be the VDP, unless we have it in sight. So that would be 2.4 DME, which is coming up to about now. I have everything in sight. 2.4, missed approach, or land. So we're going to land. We have PAPI. And we also have 3 lights that indicate our approach path. 4 lights, 2 white, 2 red. Alright, landing light is on, gas on both, undercarriage is down and welded, mixture's full forward, prop is fixed. Pump is not required, we have a high wing. Okay, there's our 65 approach speed. Still on PAPI. Okay, getting a little low, correcting. Crosswind is pretty good to realistic crosswind. Just going to keep the crab in there. Because I'm at night, I do follow the PAPI. My aim points are not the numbers at night. Because I don't want to like smack a tree or something. God forbid. Alright, landing into shore. Flaps full. Power to idle. And let's see. Let's kick that right rudder, left aileron. Oops, pilot. There we go. And we're going off the runway. Why? I don't know. There we go. All right. Pretty realistic climb. Okay, we're at SEPTA. We can start down now to 1600. It's not, so let's pull the power back.
That's our viewers over
All right, so 1600 by Femba. How can we be 11.3 miles from Femba? We must not pass SEPTA then. It's fine. All right, leveling off 100 above minimum, or 100 above step down. All right, we maintain 1600 by Femba and then follow the glide path down. We can go all the way down to 358, but instead we're going to go mist. And we're going to climb. Our mist approach instructions is going to be climb to 1700, direct Kessler, and hold. So it's going to be a teardrop entry once we get to Kessler. All right, 1600 feet. Let's get back on our contract speed of 100, so Daytona won't be grumpy. Especially Karen.
Mm-hmm.
Right, arm approach. What's wrong? Yeah, I don't know why it says we're already past SEPTA. Yeah, I don't know why it says we're past SEPTA, but let me try reloading the approach.
Well, now you're past it.
Yeah. All right, we are down to 800 by Dogra. Actually, we're following the glide path. So we'll hold off on that. Yep. 1600 to Femba. Then once we pass Femba, then down, following the glide path, with this, that we have to honor the step down fix of 800. Actually, we don't want bird path, we do not. With LPV. Okay. I get these texts. That was yesterday. All right, 3.5 miles from Femba. That's our final approach fix is, which should coincide with our glide path intercept. We do have LPV. Glide path is in standby waiting capture. No, you're exactly right. It's a, what do you want us to do today?
It's like TSA. Do you want my laptop out of there? It's just
Okay, we are about a mile and a half from Femba. Glide path should start braking. There it is, it's coming down. We are in standby. Same as an ILS, when I get about a half a dot, I'll start to configure. Flaps 10. And about 2150-ish, 2130-ish should hold 100 in the descent. I have a hunch we're gonna have to do a missed approach. All right, we are down to minimums now. Just 358, but I can only put in 360. Not a limitation, the same limitation as G1000. If we do have to go around, it'll be,
Fly around my head.
yeah, fly around my head in the 1700
2000.
and direct Kessler and hold. Now I'm interested to see how the sim handles the suspend, the non-suspend. We'll see what happens. So what'll happen normally gives you the choice: do you want to leave it in suspend mode and do an alternate miss approach, or do you want to unsuspend it and follow the published miss approach? If it gives us that choice, we'll choose to unsuspend it and let it follow the published miss approach procedure. Alright, just like a good little pilot, I'm going to start to slow down now because I want to get configured a little bit more than flaps 10. I like to dip my flaps 20 in before 500 feet. Below 85, flaps 20. I'm going to hold 75 as my short final approach speed here. Like a glove. Alright, we are about 150 above minimums. Above minimums. So ordinarily I would land here, but I notice there's a bus full of nuns just pulled out on the runway. I don't want to hurt them. So here we go around. Flaps to 10. I really hate this thing. I'm gonna fly without it. Okay, we are on the missed approach. So we're just gonna fly nav. And we're gonna fly our flight level change. We're gonna do 74 knots. And we're gonna go up to 1,700 feet. Okay, we're going direct to Kessler. About 11.3 miles away. Let's go! Alright, flaps up. Above 1,000. You know that.
Got any popcorn? Got any
I
popcorn?
don't have any popcorn, sorry. I'm gonna need it though.
Yeah.
Alright. Now, usually, at the holding pattern, we can see it there. So probably, I'll just keep tracking the GPS. It should set everything up for me all by its lonesome. Alright, leveling it off at 1,700. Pull our power back just a bit so I don't over accelerate. I mean, after all, we don't want to get there too quickly. Alright, 2350, my cruise power setting. Should give me about 105 en route to the missed approach holding pattern. Alright, about 9 miles to go. Serenity now. Okay, while we're in the holding pattern, do you want to fail something? Sure. And then it says what we have to do is show iOS and fail a flight instrument, followed by demonstration of effects to the instrument panel, followed by clearing the failure on the iOS. So what we can do, maybe let's fail the ADC. Actually, fail the AHARS instead. That's nicer.
Okay. Take a look at this.
Oh.
So it's gonna be under failures. We go instruments, G1000, and we'll fail the ARs.
Not yet.
Oh, thought you were ready.
No.
All right. Well, I yet, so.
Do you have to do AHRS 2 as well?
I don't know, but I can do both.
Yeah, let's do both just to make sure.
All right.
As soon as we're ready, we'll hit apply changes.
I was thinking we'd fail them once we're in the holding pattern.
Got it.
Which is only 5.7 miles away. So I'm going to set up my teardrop heading, which would be 132. Now, the FMS should fly it for me, but if it doesn't, all I have to do is change the autopilot from nav to heading mode. Thing flies very accurately. The power settings are right on. 2350 gives us 105, and all the different configurations and approaches,
Yeah.
they were all matching really well.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time on this.
Yeah, I can tell it's working. Right, after that, I think we are done. Oh, demonstrate shutdown and then turn on of the device. How's Ubiquitous doing? Here?
What to do?
Oh, okay, cool. Gonna be here for a couple days?
Spend the night over.
Good for him. I love this display. It's like I'm flying in haze or a forest fire.
This is what the self-practice area.
Oh, we get a lot of practice with that.
Okay, 1.9 miles away, I need a sterile classroom.
Sorry, yes, sir.
All right, let's see what it's going to do. If it doesn't enter the holding pattern automatically, it should. I see the pattern. I don't see the teardrop entry leg yet. Oh, it's going to make me hold parallel. It could be either or. All right, since we're doing parallel, I would prefer to teardrop. That's just me. Oh, we have 4 mile legs. That looks about 4 miles long. Once we get established in holding, that should be what they need. And then once we make the turn back inbound, just go ahead and apply the failure,
Okay.
and we'll note what happens, and then recover the failure and note what happens.
Okay.
Just remind me, I don't want to do a spin until I secure everything.
Oh, of course, of course.
That's nice.
I don't have my seatbelt on over here. I don't have my seatbelt on.
You're screwed. All right, you know what? I mean, the nav is still going to work. You can fail it now. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Dude, you failed our AHARS, not the ADC. Thanks a lot. Now, we still have our ADC. AHARS 2 must have failed. That's why this is failing. So why don't you go ahead and recover AHARS 2.
Okay.
This will be a good example to see. Okay. Actually, that wasn't an AHARS 2 failure. That was a loss of control. And I don't know why it did that, but it did. 1700. All right, so now I'm flying primary, or backups. All right, why don't you go ahead and recover the AHARS failure.
Okay.
All right, you saw the loss. Now let's get the flight director back. Heading mode. Nav and backup. And then altitude. Okay. And we're coming back to Kessler. All right, the nav stayed put. All right, intercept the GPS, and it should commence the holding ad infinitum because we're in suspend now. So we're just going to hold and hold and hold and hold. Okay. There we go. Now we'll continue, get it out of suspend mode. All right, looks good. So we're in holding. You've done the failures, you've done the recovery, you shot the low IFR approach to the holding fix. I think that's it, right, boss?
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Now we'll do the shutdown sequence. So to shut down on the instructor station right here, it's under shutdown all. So just hit shutdown all. Now this is touchscreen. The prompt afterwards pops up over here just to verify that it 100% is what the user wants to do. We click shut down all network PCs, and that'll shut down the SIM. And once the PC is offline, then we can shut off the power switch in the back. There we go. And we are officially shut down.